Good morning, guys and girls. Welcome back to Stretford Paddock. My name is Jordan. As you can see, we're outside Old Trafford on what is a very overcast, very wet, mild Wednesday morning. So if I could give you any advice for this morning, make sure to bring your brolly out because it's that fine rain that really soaks you through. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you're covered. As always, we've got some updates for you this morning on Manchester United, talking a lot of the outgoings that could be happening potentially over the last 2 weeks of the transfer window, in terms of your Amad Diallos, in terms of your Andreas Pereiras, your Brandon Williams, your Jesse Lingard, and a forgotten man who's trying to work his way back into the first team after rejecting Rafael Varane's proposal for a new number. We all know who I'm talking about, but I'll get onto it a little bit later. But without further ado, I'm going to dive straight in with the news about Manchester United's pre-season game yesterday. And if you've not seen already, we played a behind closed doors friendly against Burnley, in which United won 3-1. Goal scorers is Anthony Martial. It should have been, it was Harry Maguire's goal off a corner, but he got the slightest of touches on it. Fred got on the score sheet again. I don't know what that guy's been having over his, I don't know what he's been having for breakfast since the Copa America, but his performances have been quite good the past couple of games. And Jesse Lingard got on the score sheet as well in a 3-1 win. Positive signs again from the first team. It was a lot of it was a rotational sort of team that we saw against Burnley, the likes of Williams getting a game, Phil Jones getting a game, Tom Heaton, etc, etc. But moving away from that, straight onto transfers, and the update that we have for you this morning on Paul Pogba. As we know, Graham Souness's best mate we saw over the weekend. Fabrizio Romano on his YouTube channel has been speaking about Paul Pogba and his future at Manchester United, saying, "I am told there are new chances to stay at Manchester United this summer for Paul Pogba. This doesn't mean he's going to extend his contract, but he will stay at Manchester United and we'll see what happens on the contract side. The club is directly negotiating with Pogba and Mino Raiola to extend his contract. They are offering him a new deal, but there is no agreement between Pogba and Manchester United yet. So they're still negotiating in the next days and the next months." I think from the performance that we saw from Paul Pogba over the weekend, that it is imperative that he signs a new contract, because it may not be the consistent figure that everyone wants to see from him, but no one can bring to the table what he can do when he is on form. 4 assists in the Premier League, the first Manchester United player to do so ever in the Premier League. Only 6 more players in the Premier League have ever done that in history. So it says the type of calibre of player that Paul Pogba is, and I think he does need to sign that contract, because we need Paul Pogba in that midfield playing the best football that he can, to make sure that we're challenging on all fronts for silverware, because we're all desperate for some silverware, aren't we? I mean, the signings, the calibre of signings that we've made this transfer window so far: 4-time Champions League winner, World Cup winner Rafael Varane, the best young right winger in the world in Jadon Sancho. They've signed to win trophies, and to aid that, Paul Pogba needs to stay at the club. So positive talks from Fabrizio Romano about Paul Pogba's contract front, but again, we'll see over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, should we say, over what Paul Pogba may or may not do in Manchester United. Of course, in January he can negotiate with a foreign club over a pre-contract agreement, and it's looking like Paris Saint-Germain, who've reportedly offered him around £510,000 a week to sign a contract at the club, is a destination that he could possibly go to. But let me know if you think we should keep Paul Pogba or not, because I know he splits opinion in terms of how consistent his performances have been for Manchester United over the 4 or 5 years that he's been here, but there's no denying that he's a world beater. Another guy who looks to be set to stay at Manchester United is the forgotten man. Phil Jones played in the pre-season friendly, the behind closed doors friendly. Season started, Jordan, bloody hell. He played in the behind closed doors friendly yesterday, and looks like he got a few minutes in, so he looks fit. He looks like he's going to be part of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, and according to the Daily Mail, that's exactly the case. Phil Jones is keen to rebuild his Manchester United career, and Solskjaer plans to use him as one of 5 centre-backs this season. He'll be staying at Manchester United for the 2021-22 campaign. Whether or not Phil Jones is an imperative figure in that team, I pretty much doubt it, because Rafael Varane's come in to partner Harry Maguire. Victor Lindelof's performances have been pretty decent for the start of the season that's just happened. Eric Bailly's coming is obviously going to be second choice, should I say, if I can pronounce that correctly, behind the likes of Maguire, Varane, etc, etc. So Phil Jones will probably be a cup competition centre-half that we'll see rotating through the EFL Cup, the FA Cup, etc, etc. So looks like he's staying. To be honest, I do feel sorry for him a bit. He's been a bit of a meme. He's been a hell of a meme since he joined Manchester United, to be honest. All the faces he pulls, all the daft defending that he does. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. But I always think back to how he used his head against Arsenal with Olivier Giroud when he was going clean through on goal. But he tries, doesn't he? So I wish the best for him. But moving on from players who look set to stay, Some outgoings include Jesse Lingard. Now, again, he scored in the behind closed doors game yesterday. West Ham, according to the Daily Mail, are still fighting to sign him. Obviously, he had a great campaign with West Ham. I think he got 9 goals and 6 assists in 16 or 17 appearances last season with David Moyes. And Stuart Pearce has been talking about it, saying West Ham are still fighting to sign special lad Jesse Lingard after his stunning loan spell last season. But first team coach Stuart Pearce admits the ball is in Manchester United's court now. Reports also indicated that United have dropped their asking price for Jesse Lingard to around £20 to £25 million, which I think is sort of a suitable price tag for the player. Personally, I think Jesse Lingard should leave Manchester United because he's not going to get in the first team when Rashford and Sancho are fully fit, playing fantastic football for us as we're all expecting. Maybe he should go now and sort of play at a team like West Ham where he's going to play consistently and sort of rediscover the form that he had for them in the last 6 months of the Premier League last season. And it would be lovely to see him performing well because, you know, he's had his struggles during his United career, and I really do think that he deserves that consistent run in the first team. It just so happens that it probably won't be at Manchester United, despite the fact Rashford is currently injured. I still think the fact that Paul Pogba can play on that left-hand side, that Jadon Sancho's now in, Mason Greenwood could also operate on either wing. I don't think he'll get in over the likes of them players. So for me, Jesse Lingard should be leaving the club. Another player who looks like they're set to leave is Brandon Williams. Norwich City have been showing huge interest in our left back, and it looks like Brandon Williams is set to join Norwich on a season-long loan in the coming days, according to the according to the Athletic, should I say. The agreement is close. However, United are keen to get through the game against Southampton before officially sanctioning the move. So it looks like over the next week that deal is going to be dragged along, but Brandon Williams to Norwich City, it looks like it is happening, and I'm sort of happy about that because Norwich City were very poor against Liverpool. Mohamed Salah tore their left-hand side a new one, and it looks like Brandon Williams can go in and sort of stir up that left-hand side for Norwich. As I said, tough tackling, young, he's going to throw himself into tackles, but hopefully he'll get a consistent 30 games in the Premier League and he'll come back to Manchester United a better player. So happy days for both parties, and it looks like we're getting £2 million of a loan fee as well. So you can't really complain about that. Another player who looks like they're set to leave is Andreas Pereira. He was obviously left out of Manchester United's squad against Burnley in that behind closed doors friendly, and he has reportedly accepted a proposal from Flamengo in Brazil, according to TNT sports reporter Fred Caldeira. Other reports from Brazil are also saying that Manchester United are sending positive signals about the move. It looks like it's going to happen, and he's set to go on a 1-year loan with discussions over salary. Now, Andreas Pereira, the pre-season Pirlo, or whoever you want to call him, Kaká, whatever, he seems to perform every pre-season, but then when it comes to the league, he doesn't really perform at all, which sees him going on loan moves like Lazio last season. He played okay. He wasn't really a world beater over there, but Lazio was another club that were said to be interested in him on a loan move, but it looks like he's going to Brazil now, and again, he's sort of like Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard is obviously a better player than Andreas Pereira, but he's not the type of guy who's going to be breaking into that first team mould, dislodging the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba. And in midfield, if he was playing in the sort of 6 pivot as he was in pre-season against the likes of QPR, I think he was paired with Matic against them, but he's not going to break into that midfield. He's not going to dislodge Matic, Fred, Scott McTominay, Paul Pogba if he's dropped into a 6, or even if we play a 4-3-3, he's getting nowhere near that midfield 3. So the best thing for him, in my eyes, and probably 99% of Manchester United fans, is to go out on loan and play first team football, and then hopefully we can get around 15 to 20 million for him in transfer fees, so then we can make another move for someone in the future. Now, again, I know I've said another about 8 times this video, but another guy who looks like he's going to set to leave in the last 2 weeks of the transfer window is Amad Diallo, but a few interested clubs have shown interest, if I repeat myself, in Amad Diallo, but a decision is yet to be made about where Amad will go on loan. That's according to Jonathan Schrager on Twitter. And Amad Diallo, there's been talk about him going to Crystal Palace under Patrick Vieira, Sheffield United under Slavisa Jokanovic, and FC Basel in Switzerland. So he's got, obviously there's a lot of clubs interested in the Ivorian, and I'd like to see him go out on loan because it's the same conversation that we're having time and time again. I don't think he'll break into the first team at his tender age now. Let him go out on loan. Preferably, I'd like him to go on loan either to Crystal Palace or Sheffield United. Premier League or the Championship. Let him understand the typical physicality of the English leagues to sort of buff up and get stronger, know how to deal with it, how to ride the challenges, even though we've seen in the few games that he's played for us, he does know how to ride challenges pretty well because he's a very, very skillful player. But again, he's only young yet, so I'd say let him go out on loan, get a year of first team football, as Brennan Williams is set to do as well. Let him come back to Manchester United a better player and then challenge from next season onwards. We've got 1 point on incomings, and it looks like the incoming is not going to happen because Atletico Madrid will reportedly not sell Kieran Trippier for anything less than his €60 million release clause. Manchester United and Arsenal were reportedly interested, but Atletico consider him essential to their team and therefore refused to negotiate. That's according to AS. It looks like the Kieran Trippier story is dead and buried now. Manchester United are not going to pay €60 million for a 30-year-old fullback when it looks like Diogo Dalot is going to cement his place as that challenger to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Ethan Laird's gone out on loan to Swansea. So we're looking all right in the right back position. So I can pretty much confidently say that unless it's going to happen in the last 2 days of the transfer window, the Atletico Madrid Kieran Trippier links to Manchester United are pretty much dead and buried. I don't think it's going to happen now. Manchester United aren't going to pay, as I said before, €60 million in terms of for the 30-year-old because that's his release clause. Atletico were rumoured to be accepting around €34 million, but their games in La Liga, or their first game in La Liga, and obviously the pre-season, has proved to Simeone that he's too important for the team. So Kieran Trippier to Manchester United looks like it's not going to happen. But that's it from us outside Old Trafford for today's Manchester United news. Keep an eye out on the channel today for a video on Eric Ramsey, the new coach, the new set-piece coach, should I say, at Manchester United, who's come in looking to improve our ability on set-pieces, because scoring them last season, we weren't doing it enough. Conceding, we were doing it too much. So it's quite exciting to see we've took him off Chelsea as well, so we've weakened a Premier League rival in terms of that. And make sure you're keeping your eye out for the rest of the content that's coming out on the channel. We've delved into all of the news stories that we spoke about this morning, into much more detail on Transfers Live last night with Jay Motti and Joe Smith. So check that out if you want to know a little bit more about the news stories that we've been speaking about today. I've been Jordan Simpson for Stretford Paddock. Make sure you're liking the video as well. Drop a comment about all of the news that we spoke about today. Give us your opinions on the likes of Paul Pogba, Andreas Pereira, etc, etc. Let us know what you think about these players and whether they should still be at Manchester United. As I say, I've been Jordan. We'll see you on the next video.